by just taking a deep breath. And knowing that this is one life that is here right now. It is the infinite life, the presence of love, the presence of power, the presence of prosperity. And I see it everywhere I go. I recognize and know that I am here tuned in and tapped into the cause of all life, the great creator of all, the divine beauty that continually expresses itself in and through all things. I recognize and know that I am a part of that beauty, that my life is a beautiful tapestry that I get to weave as I co-create with my chief spiritual officer. I recognize and know that my dreams, my visions, my deepest desires are here within me. And so I speak my words of truth today. I speak knowing that I am shifted and gifted and lifted into a new space of possibility, where everything in my life shines bright. And I see past all of the challenge and the difficulty, and I see straight to the core of the beauty of my life. And I welcome it, and I bless it. And I know and claim that as I speak this word today, that I am a powerful inspiration to each and every person who hears these words. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and every person around me. As each and every person hears these words, they awaken to their light, they awaken to their glory, they awaken to their power and their presence and their love and their light. And that everything else falls away. So that we can truly be here united, connected, intimately, divinely inspired, and love who we truly are. And so as I surrender into that love, I recognize and know that it wraps itself around me like a warm, fuzzy blanket. And it does the same for each and every person here. And I'm touched, moved, and inspired by this truth. So I release this prayer, letting it go and letting it be. And knowing that today is truly a day to live for. And so it is. Thank you.
We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant and gorgeous, talented and sure? But you're a child of God. Why would you play small to make others feel secure? We were born to manifest the glory of within. Our deepest fear is not our weakness. Our deepest fear is our strength. And it's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us to silence and keeps our shadows tall. But there is nothing big in playing small. As we let our own light shine, unconsciously we give our friends the strength to do the same. When we free ourselves from fear, others get permission to love themselves again. We were born to manifest our strength. And it's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us to silence. It keeps our shadows tall. But there is nothing big in playing small. And it's not just in me, and it's not just in some of us. It's in everyone you meet. There's not a single one of us that isn't fabulous. Our deepest fear is not our weakness. Our deepest fear is our strength. And it's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us to silence. It keeps our shadows tall. But there is nothing big in playing small. No, there is nothing big in playing small.
Well, good morning. I'm really glad you're all here. Yeah. It's so good to see all of you. My stepdad's here from New Mexico. I'm really happy. Yeah. One of the Johns. We have a community. We have 3 Johns here today. I love our Johns.
I'm your stepdad, and you're my daughter.
Yeah, I love you.
That was beautiful.
So today is a great day, and we are talking about money, but we're really talking about fortune. Mm-hmm. We're talking about how your fortune starts in consciousness. And one thing I really love about our teaching is that whatever is right now is an effect. Whatever's happening in this very moment is an effect. You gotta think about that, right? Like this podium, somebody had an idea in their mind, and then they created the I don't know, the blueprints or whatever you do with a podium. and then they created it. And so this was an effect out of somebody's thought. Right? And you can look at everything tangible and physical and realize that everything tangible and physical is an effect, even money. Now, money is just an agreement that we've made with each other, because technically it's a piece of paper, right? I mean, kind of materially paper, because it's washable. I have washed money. and money laundering. That's from the CPA. Oh, that was a good one. I know. But if you think about money, and you look at money, really it's just an agreement we have in society. Because back in the day, there was like a system where it was kind of like, I'm a farmer, I'll give you a dozen eggs, and then you're going to give me something back. But you're not going to give me, like, you maybe would cook asparagus, grow asparagus, not cook it, but you grow asparagus, and I give you some eggs, you give me some of your asparagus, and we'd all be happy. But it was a little bit harder to deal with, because it's like, what if there's something that I want that's from somebody really far away? And so we figured out we needed some kind of currency, something that would represent. It would have a representation. And we all made an agreement on what that representation would be worth. And when we did that, really, it's just a form of energy. It's just an energy exchange, right? So really, whenever we're thinking about money, we're just thinking about energy. We're thinking about exchanging energy. We're thinking about worth, value, right? What is the consciousness? What is the energy of this thing that we value, that we want, that we desire? And what does it give to us? So that's a really basic thing about finances, but it really comes in our mind. And Ernest Holmes says in The Power for Good, when we remember that we are mind and that money has no preferences, being an entirely neutral thing, then we begin to understand why money flows in the direction to which it is attracted and flows away from the point where it is being repelled. We're watching, I'm in Prosperity Plus 2 right now, the class. We're teaching that class. And Mary Morrissey has this example of where she went and saw another person, and he had a big wad of money, like a big thing of money, and he would kissed it. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then he said, if that bothered any of you, you might want to think about where your consciousness is about money. Because if I had gone and grabbed my grandson and went, I love you, I love you, I love you, everybody would have felt good. But if you don't feel good about me loving money, then there's something within you that's resistant to it and repelling it away. And I know this is different from a lot of teachings. There's many religious organizations and religions talk about how, money is the root of
all evil.
All right, yes, you know this, right? Money doesn't. Yes, we all know, right? Gosh, it does grow in trees, right? It's made of material, right? made of pulp. It is made of tree. Yeah. So we got to think about these things, and how are we creating in our consciousness how we feel about things, because our feeling about things impacts everything. Now I have to say, all of you are miracle makers. You are miracle makers. This center is 5 years old. 5 years and 2 months. We're like a 5-year-old. We're counting the months. Actually, 3 months now. This is 5 years and 3 months. And each and every one of us that is here has contributed to the success of the center. Most businesses within the first 5 years, I think the statistic is that 80% of them fail. 80% of them. Now, because you are here and we're over 5 years old, you are a representation of that consciousness of absolute success. You have participated and contributed to this center's absolute success. And I have to just say, kudos to you. Kudos to all of you. We are the ones who create what we want in our reality. In Mind and Success, Ernest Holmes also says, realize behind everything that is seen is the silent cause. In your life, you are the cause. There's nothing but mind, and nothing moves except as mind moves it. We have agreed that while God is love, God or the universe or whatever you call it, is love, your life is governed by absolute mind or law. In our lives of conditions, we are the cause. And nothing moves except as our mind moves it. We're first cause in our lives. We create because we are the cause of our lives. We get to be the cause of our lives. So if you want things to shift and change in your life, you get to be the one who shifts and changes. You get to be the one who steps into a new possibility of being. We're also reading Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Barand in Prosperity Plus. And in that book, she says, there's nothing unusual or mysterious in the idea of your pictured desire coming into material evidence. It is a working of a universal natural law. The world is projected by the self-contemplation of the universal mind. And the same action is taking place in the individualized branch, which is in the mind of humanity. Everything in the whole world, from the hat on your head to the boots on your feet, has its beginning in mind and comes into existence in exactly the same manner. All are projected thoughts solidified. So if this is true, what do we want to create?
Wealth.
Yes. Abundance, yes. What else? Kindness. What else? Peace. Acceptance. Grace. Yeah. Aliveness. Vibrancy. Joy. Love. Intimacy. Forgiveness. Now what happens is we cultivate these inside of us now. And as I cultivate this, and I can create a picture of what it looks like in my mind, or I can create the feelings, or both are better. The picture with the feelings combined in it has an effect of being projected out into the universe. So while we're in this place of, I'm going to say 2017 is the year of transition. While we're in this place of transition and everything's being shaken and stirred, it's an opportunity for us to awaken to what we truly want to create in the world. If something is the way that you don't want it, then why don't you picture and imagine something in the way that you do want it, instead of harping on what you don't want. It's a lot easier to complain and, go off on the, I don't like this world this way, or I don't like this person this way, or I don't like that. Well, what do you want? That is often one of my biggest questions when I'm counseling somebody. What is it you want? Because it's very easy to nail what we don't want, but what do you want? What do you want? Everything happens twice, remember. Everything happens twice, once in our mind, then in the outer experience. So if you create it in your mind, you're going to create it in the outer experience. And that seems like, really great to think about. I was watching this thing by Louise Hay, and we talk about affirmations a lot. And this one person, one of her clients came to her and was like, well, I'm saying I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, and yet all this appearance is that I'm not prosperous. And she says, well, you're saying I am prosperous, 10 times in a day? How many times in your head are you pointing out and noticing all the ways that you're not prospering? How many times are you doing that? So you got to look at kind of like your ratio. They have a story about the 100th monkey. I know I've told this story before, but the 100th monkey is about a group of monkeys where there was, I think they had potatoes. They had potatoes. They had potatoes, and they were dirty, and so they were going to the beach. They were washing the potatoes. Actually, the young monkey went and washed the potatoes at the beach. So they weren't eating it with dirt and grit. And the older monkeys saw the younger monkey do this, and so the older monkey started washing the potatoes. And then soon, everybody in the little monkey tribe group, I don't know what you call them, was all washing troop, club, core. They were all washing the potatoes. And then all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, there were monkeys all around the world that were washing their potatoes. So they had done this research experiment, which is how they found this out. And they were like, how did that happen? So they call it the 100th monkey. Because somewhere along the line, when enough people or things or organisms believe in a certain direction, it shows up everywhere. So we get to be the opportunity to be creating that consciousness in the entire world so that 100th monkey starts showing up everywhere. I don't know if you've noticed, but stocks for solar panels are going really well now. Things that are green energy going really well now. Why? Because the world has awakened to the fact that green energy is cleaner, it's easier, it's cheaper. Right now we are having the technology where it's cheaper. So it's more valuable for us to care about our Earth and our planet. And while you may seem evidence elsewhere that some people don't believe that our planet is worth it, actually, the facts show that more people are tuned in and tapped into what's going on our planet than not. because there's a greater population. You can see sustainability stuff everywhere in businesses and companies. And, 30 years ago, that wasn't the thing. That was like a big, oh, wow, you're so like on the, cutting edge because you're being sustainable. Well, it's not like that anymore. You're seeing it everywhere. That's because there's a consciousness that we have created that has come into being everywhere. And now we get to see it more and more. So what could we create together if we created this consciousness together? So in this book, this thing called You, Dr. Holmes says, expectancy speeds progress. Therefore, live in a continual state of expectancy. No matter how much good you are experiencing today, expect greater good tomorrow. I love that quote. So what are you expecting in your life? What are you expecting? Happiness, health, loneliness, sorrow? The holidays are coming up. Some people may be expecting some really terrible things to happen because they traditionally know what has happened in their family and past. What if you decide to create a new possibility? And what if you are that new possibility? What if you're the one who reacts differently? There's this great story by Ann Wells. She wrote this in the Los Angeles Times. It was many years ago, but I really love it. It's called A Story to Live By. One day, her brother-in-law opened the bottom drawer of her sister's bureau and took out a tissue-wrapped package. And he said, "This is not a slip. This is lingerie." And he handed Anne the slip. And she looked at it, and then she saw the price tag, an astronomical figure. And he said, "Jan bought this the first time we went to New York 8 or 9 years ago." And he said she never wore it. She was saving it for a special occasion. Well, I guess this is the occasion. So he took the slip and took it along with the other clothes he was taking to the mortician. So then he closed the door and he told Anne, close the drawer. He said, "Don't ever save anything for a special occasion. Every day you're alive is a special occasion." And Anne remembered those words so deeply, so profoundly. What were all the things that her sister hadn't seen or hadn't done because she was waiting for that special occasion? What are all the things that you haven't seen or haven't done because you're waiting for the right time, that special occasion? She said, "I'm still thinking about his words, and they've changed my life. I'm reading more and dusting less. I'm sitting on the deck and admiring the view without fussing about the weeds. I'm spending more time with my family and friends. Whenever possible, life should be a pattern of experience to savor, not endure. I'm trying to recognize these moments now and cherish them," she says. "I'm not saving anything. We use our good china and crystal for every special event, such as losing a pound, getting the sink unclogged, the first camellia blossom." She says, "I wear my good blazer to the market if I feel like it." So she said she's not saving her good perfume for anything. She's wearing it. Someday and one of these days are losing their grip on her vocabulary. Today is that day. I talk a lot about today is the best day ever. I do. And I know that there are many in this room who have a heavy heart. There's a lot of challenging things going on right now. But truly, we have an opportunity to create a new possibility. We get to be in choice. We get to be the ones who choose to be the power of possibility for ourselves. I encourage you to go home and write down a list of all the things that you've wanted to do or be or have. See if you can do 101 things I want to do or be or have. And then highlight a couple that you can start doing right away. And you can utilize that list as the starting off, the jumping off point for what you want to create in your life. But remember that you're the one who's creating it. If there's any condition that's not going well in your life, you get the opportunity to choose to create a possibility that's good for you. Not good for everybody else, just good for you. You're the only one in charge of you. You're not in charge of your spouse or your partner or your children. You're not in charge of anybody else. The only person who's in charge of your life is you.
Oh, man.
I know. I know. Well, I really appreciate another thing that you can do. We're reading this book of the month called The Path to Wealth. Now, Mae McCarthy came here. It was actually 2 years ago. I looked it up. I thought it was last year, but it was 2 years ago. Mae McCarthy here did a workshop about this, The Path to Wealth. And I did this process for almost a full year, and then it kind of fell away. Well, I'm starting up this process again. She has this amazing process in this book. I highly encourage you to do it. It's so good. It's an easy 7-step process to change your life. Literally 7 steps to change your life. And it requires 30 minutes a day in the morning and a little bit of time in the evening. And that's it. 30 minutes. Can you do that? This is real. I mean, she's like a woman of efficiency. She's like 30 minutes. That's all you need. First thing you do in your 30-minute time block. By the way, this 30-minute time block is a time that you're going to have a meeting with your CSO. That's your Chief Spiritual Officer. Now, she talks about how first of all, Mae McCarthy runs several multi-million-dollar businesses. So she's no small potato. She knows what the heck she's doing. And she's used these processes to create her multi-million-dollar businesses. I mean, I'm serious. This woman is really, really good. So she says, she's the founder of some of her companies, and she said, I have a chief information officer, chief financial officer, and then I have the chief spiritual officer, which you can call whatever you want. You can call it, Sophia or God or the universe or life or love, whatever you want to call it, that's what you can call it. So the chief spiritual officer, it is the thing itself, the thing that is the infinite everything, that knows all that is, that created all that is here right now, right? So you have a meeting with your chief spiritual officer every day. You show up to your meeting, 30 minutes. That's all you need. 10 minutes of that time, you read something spiritual and inspirational. That's all. Find a book that you've been wanting to read. You could read this book, but any devotional material. She recommends The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel, thank you. Or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yep, classic. Good books. All right, so 10 minutes, that's all you have. Put a timer on 10 minutes. The next step is you're going to write a gratitude letter, also 10 minutes. You're going to write out what you're grateful for, both for the things that have already transpired and for the things that you want to have transpire in the future as if they've already happened, because your CSO makes them possible. So you just thank your CSO for making it happen as if it's already happened. And she says, for instance, she has this. Thank you for the harmonious relationship that our company has with all current and future customers. I'm so grateful that the right customers are being drawn to us and that we can help them in superior ways. I appreciate the $400,000 in new business that we received by the end of the month as a fair exchange of value. So that's a little sample of one of her gratitude letters. Step 3. Now that you've written your gratitude letter to your chief spiritual officer, the next step is to read it out loud. Out loud. Why? Because research says that hearing yourself speak words out loud can anchor them more firmly. They can help us remember our ideas better and provide instructions to our subconscious mind to believe the words are true, whether or not the things we are thankful for have yet come to pass. Now, this is really big. Because you think, again, we're talking about the idea of the podium, right? It came into mind first. So if you're thanking in advance, you're getting that feeling and emotion, and you already have it in mind, it's already happening. It's already happening. And this kind of creates that subconscious link, this synchronicity to things happening. Which, by the way, after service today, we're going to have a workshop by Sky talking about synchronicity and talking about how physics and science proves how everything I'm saying comes into being. It's so amazing. It's so good. So I want to encourage you to stay later. Anyway, so
Science behind science of mind.
the science behind the science of mind. How does it get better than that? I don't know. So that's really easy. You're gonna read your letter out loud with emotion, and then step 4, for 5 minutes, 5 whole minutes, you're going to imagine it happening. So research also confirms that active imagination or visualization can be very effective. World-class athletes, Olympians, they work their mind by imagining it first. They also work their bodies, but they imagine it in their minds. It's part of their process. It's proven that visualization improves outcomes. So the next steps are practiced throughout the day. So that was it. That was your 30 minutes, all right? That's it. Super easy. Super easy. And I've committed to starting this again. I've already started it a couple days ago. So step 5 is to expect leads and follow directions. So you might call it a lead, you might call it an intuitive hit, you might call it just kind of like a sign. You know, I've seen the sign. So she says, an example, May was thinking she wanted to, she was offered a contract with this company in San Diego, and she didn't know if she should take the contract or not. And so she went, and she knew that the CSO would give her a sign or a lead on whether or not this was the right and perfect relationship for her to have with this other company. So she was driving along during her day, and all of a sudden she saw this gigantic billboard, and the billboard said, "May you celebrate your good fortune in San Diego." Isn't that cute? Yeah. And so she went ahead, she was like, okay, there's my sign. And she went and created that partnership, and it was very successful for both her and that other business. May also quotes Albert Einstein. She says, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is a faithful servant." We have already created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So I encourage each and every one of you to reclaim this gift. So that was step 5. Now step 6 is celebrate and note demonstrations. Celebrate and note your demonstrations. So when something comes to fruition, notice it. Get a celebration buddy. Call them up. Oh my God, you would not believe what happened to me. The most amazing thing happened to me. This is not how we use phones anymore. There's, oh my God, the most amazing thing happened to me. OMG. So the great thing as you do this, so as you celebrate, cheer, jump for joy, celebrate, call a family member. It's a very important part of this practice. It supports expectancy and changes your energy level, so you get to attract even more of that good into your life. And the 7th step is end your day with gratitude and forgiveness. So congratulate yourself. Thank your chief spiritual officer for a successful day of partnership before bedtime. If you can, pray out loud, naming specific situations that you're grateful for. And do a prayer of forgiveness, forgiving yourself and anybody else who has kind of ticked you off that day. And that's the 7 steps. So I want to encourage you to take this on this week. I'd love for you to buy this book. If you haven't bought it, it's great. She goes through all the 7 steps, so it's really easy. You don't have to write it down. It's only $16. But it's really, really wonderful. And I'd really love to hear back from you if you start doing this process. Maybe I should just say, when you start doing this process, how it manifests for you. May encourages you to do it for 30 days in a row. And after 30 days, if your life hasn't truly shifted, you can get the price of the money back. If you can do it for 30 days in a row, all right? I'll make a commitment. How's that? So are you willing to create a new possibility for your life?
Yes.
Are you willing to take yourself on because you are worth it?
Yes.
Are you willing to be the cause in your life? Are you willing to be the cause in your life?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do this together. Thank you so much. I love you all. Namaste. Let's pray. Can you play while I pray? Yeah. All right. All right, just taking a deep breath. And knowing that this is one life that is here right now. It is the infinite life, the presence of love, the presence of power, the presence of prosperity. And I see it everywhere I go. I recognize and know that I am here tuned in and tapped into the cause of all life, the great creator of all, the divine beauty that continually expresses itself in and through all things. I recognize and know that I am a part of that beauty, that my life is a beautiful tapestry that I get to weave as I co-create with my chief spiritual officer. I recognize and know that my dreams, my visions, my deepest desires are here within me. And so I speak my words of truth today. I speak knowing that I am shifted and gifted and lifted into a new space of possibility, where everything in my life shines bright. And I see past all of the challenge and the difficulty, and I see straight to the core of the beauty of my life. And I welcome it, and I bless it. And I know and claim that as I speak this word today, that I am a powerful inspiration to each and every person who hears these words. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and every person around me. As each and every person hears these words, they awaken to their light, they awaken to their glory, they awaken to their power and their presence and their love and their light. And that everything else falls away. So that we can truly be here united, connected, intimately, divinely inspired, and love who we truly are. And so as I surrender into that love, I recognize and know that it wraps itself around me like a warm, fuzzy blanket. And it does the same for each and every person here. And I'm touched, moved, and inspired by this truth. So I release this prayer, letting it go and letting it be. And knowing that today is truly a day to live for. And so it is. Thank you.
We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and sure? But you're a child of God. Why would you play small to make others feel secure? We were born to manifest the glory of within. Our deepest fear is not our weakness. Our deepest fear is our strength. And it's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us to silence and keeps our shadows tall. But there is nothing big in playing small. As we let our own light shine, unconsciously we give our friends the strength to do the same. When we free ourselves from fear, others get permission to love themselves again. We were born to manifest the glory of within. Our deepest fear is not our weakness. Our deepest fear is our strength. And it's our light, not our darkness, frightens us to silence, it keeps our shadows tall. But there is nothing big in playing small. And it's not just in me, and it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone you meet. There's not a single one of us that isn't fabulous. Our deepest fear is not our weakness. Our deepest fear is our strength. And it's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us to silence, it keeps our shadows tall. But there is nothing big in playing small. No, there is nothing big in playing small.